talk today about shoulder injuries. Now, shoulder injuries is something I see a lot in gyms. Quite often it's because of bad choice of exercises or overworking in certain positions, or it could be something completely unrelated like a sporting injury or something like that. Quite often when we get diagnosis of shoulder injuries and we're looking at treatment, people will often talk about the rotator cuff. So you guys have probably had to work on one client's rotator cuff at some point over your personal training career, and you might have been asked to strengthen a particular muscle, and quite often the exercises are a little bit like this, or they look a little bit like this. Okay, so we tend to work in extreme isolation when we strengthen those rotator cuff muscles. Now, I'm not saying that those exercises don't work. I think they have a place, but I don't think they're the most complementary exercise you could use. So I think if we combine those with some more functional exercises that look a little bit more like movements we might do every day, then we'll probably have a more successful rehabilitation or strengthening program that would give more integration to the shoulder and help the shoulder recover to full strength. So I'm going to show you some exercises that I might use to strengthen some of the rotator cuff muscles, and why I've chosen those particular muscles and why I think they work as well. So have a look at this. So here's some of my thinking then behind some of my exercise choices for the rotator cuff muscles. So first of all, if we really want to work an exercise well, functionally, then we need to lengthen it in 3 planes and put it under tension. So we know that if we do that, we're going to be exciting the muscle to the greatest extent and switching on more muscle fibres. Okay, so we want to lengthen it in all 3 planes. So if we think about some of the rotator cuff muscles, so first of all we've got supraspinatus coming across the top here. We've got infraspinatus coming from the back of the shoulder blade and sweeping around onto the humerus, and then we've got teres minor, okay, coming through the armpit through here. So all of those muscles can all be switched on by the same movements. So if we were to look at their fibre alignment and the origins and insertions, we can see that a little bit of flexion is going to help to switch those muscles on. Okay, a lot of abduction is going to help to switch those muscles on, and a lot of internal rotation are going to help to switch all 3 of those rotator cuff muscles on. So that just leaves subscapularis, okay, the muscle on the back of the shoulder blade, okay, so it's on the nearest side to the ribs, to be slightly different. So we can still excite subscapularis with a bit of flexion and with a lot of abduction, but in this case, because the subscapularis is coming through to the inside of the shoulder blade, we need to externally rotate the hand to switch that one on. So you'll see some of my exercises on some that I'll internally rotate and some that I'll externally rotate, but that's just to make sure that I hit all 4 of the rotator cuff muscles. But I'll also come and work across the other side of the body as well. So I'm going to come across the body this way. Now, a lot of people will mistake that for adduction, but don't be fooled, okay? The reason for that is because we're taught as a rule that as the hand comes towards the midline of the body, then we get adduction, which is generally true for most cases, but we know there's always an exception to the rule as well, and this is one of them. So if we were to take the humerus, okay, as one of the bones of the shoulder, and the scapula as another one of the bones in the shoulder, and then look what happens as I come all the way across my midline, then you'll see that this gap grows. Okay, so the distance between my humerus and the scapula increases, which means I'm getting some shoulder abduction here. So in some cases you might see me working across here to try and create abduction slightly differently to what abduction might look here, but it's still a valid movement and a valid exercise choice for rotator. So another thing you might see in these exercises as well is that I drive the other hand forwards. Okay, now there is a reason for that too, and that's because I'm a big believer in fascial lines. So I do think muscles are linked together through fascial lines, and what I'm trying to stretch really here is the posterior arm line. So we're talking about all the muscles and fascial fibres that sweep through the posterior arm, okay, all the way across the back of the shoulders, across the scapulas and right down to the side. So if I'm creating movement forwards with those hands together and I'm protracting, then that's getting a big stretch on my fascial line, and that's helping to stretch and switch on those fibres. And then once I've loaded that, you'll also see me shorten it as well. Okay, so I'm going to load and explode those muscles. So look out for some of that stuff in the videos, and give these exercises a try. Okay, see where you can feel them working, and then if you really enjoy doing them and you feel that they're working in the right place, integrate them in some of your programs.